Got it. I got it. Boom. What the fuck, astrology?
What is astrology?
What even is it?
What even is it?
How is it even here? Right? Well, it's a newfangled study. It's only been around for 4,000 years. And that's just the cuneiform written stuff, you know?
Right.
That's not even including the study that early peoples did, right? Because it starts with the sun affects me, the moon affects me, it affects everything around us. What else is up there, you know? So now we're going to talk about how that other stuff affects us up there. That's what's up. So Mary and I are Team Aquarius. Ooh. Aquarius.
That's us.
Yes, that means that we are eccentric. It means that we are the weirder the better, champion for the underdog, and we want to tell the masses about astrology. That's what it means. Welcome. Okay, next page. This is us. Hi again. Portland-based astrologers.
We're weird. We're Aquarius. That's what this is meant to represent.
Yeah, right.
We're Portland based. We do some live events here, but mostly we work online.
Yes.
And we live at teamaquarius.com.
Oh, yeah, find us. Next. Oh, this is us too. Another little background. If you go to our website, you'll see us again.
It's just a little bit of our history, why we work together, right? All that good stuff.
Yes.
I do love that picture.
I love that picture too. Especially because you can't see that I'm actually topless in it. All right,
Yeah.
moving next.
Straight up.
Us again. Aquarius sun, Aries moon, Aries rising, Mary Sag, Aquarius moon, Scorpio rising. We will both cut a bitch. Just kidding. They're both Mars ruled signs. All right. We love this quote. The astrology is a study of how space is beating your ass from that far away. Because it really is affecting us. It really is a thing. So what we're going to talk about is the houses, because what are houses, y'all? We're going to talk about the planets, because that's what we're looking at. Signs by element, right? Earth, air, fire, water. Good things to know, and they impact us. And we're going to check out some charts, maybe, if we have time.
Mary, we rarely have time, but yeah.
Mary has to leave at 12:20, 12:20, somewhere
12, 20,
in there.
25, yeah.
Yeah.
About halfway mark.
That's right. So when she dips, you know why. Alrighty, so these are the we have the first house here, right? The first house, these are sort of just all the stuff in them. If your first house isn't Aries, obviously that's not yeah. a problem. You have a different first house, but there'll be some kind of overlay, right, Mary? Some kind of overlay to that first house.
This might seem like a really confusing place to start.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay if this all doesn't make sense right away, right? That is astrology. Yeah. But the reason we're starting with this is because it is foundational to your chart, right? So you go into an astrology reading and you see this pie chart and you're like, what is all of this, right? There's symbols and there's slices and there's things. So this is a breakdown. Each of those little pie slices is an area of life, and they're really powerful when we're reading our charts, but they get overlooked a little bit because we'll focus on the sign and we'll focus on the planet, but not the house. And the house, as you can see, has focuses such as self, resources, communication, right? The first quadrant is really about you and who you are. The next is about, relationships and who you're meant to partner with. Mm-hmm. And then the last piece is about community and what are we all here for, and those bigger questions. And so much can be looked at from just a housing perspective. Sometimes Lacey and I will look at a chart and see so much stuff in that last piece of it, right? And we're like, oh my God, you're here to do like big things for everybody.
Mhm.
Other people will have a ton in the stuff about them,
Mhm.
right? And that'll be, oh my God, you're here to work on you, right? You really need to understand like what you need and your ego needs and your self-love requirements are, right? So anyway, that's why we're starting here. Um, it would probably be confusing to go too deep into it, but houses are important. And if you're going deeper in astrology, you have to know your birth time, your exact birth time to have accurate houses. So if you're new in astrology and you don't have your birth time yet or something, it's okay to just look at planets. It's okay to just look at like those things. But as you inevitably want to go deeper, getting that rising sign, that birth time accurate,
Mhm.
and then understanding where all of those planets fall into areas of life is a really interesting layer.
Yeah, and give you a lot of information. And
A
my
lot.
favorite part about information is I don't feel crazy, right? Like
Yes.
astrology makes me go, ah.
It's very validating. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Woo. Planets, planets in the houses matter.
These symbols come straight from our free guide. We have it
Mhm.
on our website. So if you need something like this to help as like a cheat sheet while you're looking at your own chart, it's really helpful, right? Because it takes a little bit to memorize the symbols, but they all have separate meanings, right? They all have a personality, literally. So
Mhm.
yeah, these are the planets.
These are the planets. Everybody knows their sun sign. It can be called sun sign, zodiac sign, star sign, right? Usually, when they're saying those things, they're meaning the sun, right? And think about the sun in our solar system. It's the center of our little solar system, right? And we're all floating around it. So, what does the sun give? It gives illumination, it gives light, it gives awareness, it gives differentiation between day and night, right? So, wherever the sun is in your chart is where you shed light for wherever you're supposed to shed light. If it's in that first quadrant of self, then you are here to discover yourself. Your awareness is there, right? If it's on that last part, the 11 through 10, 11, 12 houses, then you shed light for the masses, right?
Okay.
Then you shed light on, things for other people to know.
This
uh
is where it's really interesting, right?
mhm.
Where is what house is your sun in? Right? That's a really interesting first foundational question. My sun is in my house of resources,
Mhm.
right? Lacey's sun is in the house of community, right?
Mhm.
Aquarius.
Yeah, 11.
So already we know more about our sun just by knowing what house it sits in,
Mhm.
right? More about ourselves.
Yes. So Mary's sun is here to discover her resources, her ethics, her values. What does she value, really? And mine in the 11th house is shedding light on why humanity doesn't all agree. Astrology, right? This is why people are different.
Bringing people together through community,
Yeah.
right? Being the glue kind of the right.
Mm-hmm. So your sun is your awareness. It's where you shed light. It's where you have insight, right? It's also where you specifically have insight on wherever it is in your chart. The moon is like the bedroom of your house, right? So the sun is like your house. The moon is like the bedroom of the house. Ooh, and it looks like we have a chat. Hi, does north and south node mean? Oh, what does north and south node mean? Yeah, we will definitely cover that. Mary, you want to talk about north and south node?
Yeah, we could jump ahead to that a little bit. So like,
Mm-hmm.
Lacey's just up here talking about sun.
Mm-hmm.
I put them at the bottom because they are not planets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They're nodes, right? They're lunar nodes.
they're
So
cascadations.
calculations, right? So they're a little different than the rest of these, but they're in here because they're so important in my opinion, and I think a lot of astrologers would agree.
Mhm.
They represent past lives and destiny, right? So South Node is where we've been, what kind of past lives we've mastered, like gifts that we're bringing in from like where our soul has been.
Mhm.
Lacey and I talk about like when we look at a birth chart, a lot of times it's like the agreements you made coming in, right? What did you say you were going to work on? What did you say was going to be really hard, right? What was kind of the end goal? That's kind of what it is. It's like a map. North Node tells us what direction we should go in, right? It says these are the themes to lean into. These are the things that will kind of up level you in this
Mhm.
life. South Node is things that we can fall into very easily because we've been there, done that. So we're actually kind of meant to see that and push ourselves the other way to some extent, right? Everybody's chart's a little different. It depends on what house this is in, what's next to it, what else is sitting across from it, right? Um, in Vedic, they talk about it being a dragon. Is that what it was?
Yeah, Rahu and Ketu. So North Node is Rahu, and that's the mouth of the dragon.
What are you meant to consume?
Yeah.
Right.
What are we, and what can we be greedy for too, right? It's kind of like this interesting.
It's a pursue, right? A pursuit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the South Node is the tail of the dragon. So what are you meant to excrement out or move away from, right?
Right.
In this life. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, thank you. That's interesting.
Okay,
It
thank you.
is. It's very interesting. If you know your where your north node and south node is, you can drop it in here.
Yeah,
Um,
got it. Yeah, so moon, inner world, emotions, feelings, right? The moon is where we will know somebody for a while before you'll see their moon sign usually, unless it's up there in that first house like mine, and then it's like, boom, here's how I feel about it.
heart on your sleeve.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No thoughts. Here it is, right? I just know. But yeah, the moon is intuition also. So it's what you feel intuitively drawn to, what you'll have an intuition on, right? So as we were talking about houses, let's say if your moon was in the moon is also represents where we feel at home. So if you have a moon in the 11th house, then you feel at home with friends or in large communities, right? And you'll probably have intuition with your friends, maybe very strongly. If you have moon in the 7th house, right, then that means that you are at home with your other or with your partner or with one-on-one relationships, kind of a thing. So moon is our intuition and how we feel at home, comfortable, cozy in a space, or not
Yeah.
cozy. Mm-hmm.
If you think about sun, it's bright, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of harsh almost, right? Like if you go out in the sun without sunscreen, you get burned. That
Yeah.
is sun. Moon is softer, right? It's darker, it's reflective. So that represents how they are to us too, right? The sun is what we shine, how we shine, what brings us vitality. The moon is the things people can't see, the softer reflective pieces, the intuition and the feelings, right? It's exactly kind of how these things feel, right? It's almost elemental in that way, right? It's very much representative of what these things are by nature. The sun is very hot, it's very bright, it's very illuminating,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The moon
The
also
moon can
gives
be,
life. It can grow
moon can be,
things during its cycle too, right? But it's darker,
yes.
right? It's
Mm-hmm.
less, you know.
Yeah. And that's why when the moon is eclipsed, right?
Mhm.
When eclipse season comes, that reflection is not what we're used to, right? So it's considered like compromise the light of the moon because it's being eclipsed. So that's like, I think it's easy to think about them almost as opposites, but really they're both so it's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Yeah. The rising sign is what sets up your houses, right? The exact time of birth. That's how we know where things are in your houses, and it's how we get a lot of information sort of about
This
you
is,
and your life, how it went as a whole.
yeah, this is also not a planet. It's more of a calculation. Like what
It's where the sun
sign
was on the horizon when you were
when you
born,
were,
or where, yeah, exactly.
and it moves very fast. And this is why the exact birth time is
Mhm.
really important, right? An estimation is great, but the exact is really good because it's like every 2 minutes that changes.
Yeah. Mercury is all about communication, thoughts, mental energy, right? It's also can represent travel, like short distance travel. Um, it represents the speed at which we understand things, right? Some people are like, you tell them something and they're all, I got it, I understand it. Other people, you can tell them something and you can see like the wheels turning, like they don't understand it in the same way, right? Mercury is at play there. Mercury retrograde, which most people have heard of. That means that it goes internal first, right? When Mercury is direct, the communication is direct. When Mercury is retrograde and it's retrograde in a chart, then what you've got going on is a little more reflection before I speak it. That's what a Mercury retrograde can mean. Which doesn't make you any less fast of a thinker than other people. It just means that it takes longer for it to come out of your mouth, essentially. But communication and travel, texting, right? It rules. Think of Mercury in the Greek myths, right? Mercury is the relayer of messages. Mercury is going to Zeus and to other gods, right? And he's taking messages. He or she, actually, Mercury is neither male nor female in a chart. It is androgynous. It does take on more male or female characteristics depending upon where it is, but deep astrology. But Mercury, right? The relayer of messages. Venus, goddess of love and connection, harmony, and things we find attractive, right? The way we decorate our home will say something about our Venus, right? The way, the colors that we like, people that we like, it's who we're attracted to and who we attract. So sometimes you can have a Venus in sort of uh easy placements or difficult placements, and then that can shed light on, oh, why am I so unlucky in love? Venus can help you answer that question, right? Or help you how to answer, how to find that better, right? That answer to that question. But Venus, yeah, love, connection, who we're attracted to, who's attracted to us. Mars is physical energy, drive, ambition. Mars in a chart is what will I fight for? What will I die on this hill for? Energy. Depending upon the sign, Mars can be really quick about that. So you see some people with like a loose cannon, or like a, why are you so easily angered? And they probably have a Mars in a quick sign, right? An air or fire sign. That's where Mars tends to be quickest. So now you know why some people are born to be like argumentative and fighty, right? Mars can describe that. And it also describes like athletic stuff, right? People who are like going for a gold, right? That's very Mars energy. Olympics is kind of like Mars energy, right? Going for that gold. What will you go for the gold for? And what you get angry at too, frustrated. Mars can give that. Jupiter, wealth, luck, joy, and abundance. I think of this as Santa Claus, the ho ho ho, right? Jupiter is optimistic. So when we feel down on our luck, Jupiter comes in and goes, oh, yes, but remember, I love you, right? That's how we think of Jupiter. Looks like we have another question. Is there anything that is there anything that can be done to help ease times when it's Mercury retrograde? Those few weeks seem more mentally taxing than usual. Yeah, that's a great question, especially if Mercury is prominent in your chart. Don't say yes to things quickly. That's what I think of. Don't sign a contract quickly. Give yourself grace. Give yourself patience, right? Give yourself those things.
Yeah, I gotta run here in a second, but what I would say too is the misconception with Mercury retrograde is that that we just have to like suck it up for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's gonna be like terrible, whatever, right? Um, what it is it's an inward energy. So what happens is when we're outwardly trying to communicate, things get jumbled,
Mhm.
right? It is very much a time for inward communication. And this also depends on like where Mercury is in your chart and is it retrograde in your chart, right?
Mhm.
But if the expectation is to limit the communication with the outside world and increase it with yourself, Mercury retrogrades tend to go a lot better, a lot smoother,
Mhm.
right? It's kind of about changing the expectation of that time, I think.
Yes, changing the expectation of that time, right? Expect things to go slower, expect things to
Because
glitch out. Yeah.
it will be more taxing than
Mhm.
usual to
Mhm.
put the same amount of communication out,
Mhm.
right? Because
Right,
you're kind of going backward, you're going uphill in a way, right?
right.
Um, all right, with that being said, I have to
Did
duck
it.
out a little early. I overbooked, but Lacey is incredible. And thank you guys for being here. And I will see you next time.
Yeah, yes. Moving on with the other planets. All right. Jupiter. Yeah. Wealth, luck, a benefic. Jupiter and Venus are both considered benefics, meaning they benefit us. They give us good things. And so Jupiter gives us optimism. Jupiter gives us wealth. Wealth in ancient times wasn't just money. It was kind of any of the resources you have, and it also included children. So Jupiter talks about um, usually a husband or a masculine figure in a feminine person's life, right? Jupiter can describe sort of the masculine counterpart to that. And then Venus can describe sort of the feminine counterpart to the masculine, right? Not necessarily man and women, but the energy of yin and yang, right? Anyway, Jupiter also represents children. So, husband to children, Venus is wife and beauty and connection. So that's what it meant in ancient times, and so I've definitely seen Jupiter mean that in nowadays times. All righty, let's see what you say. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I'll tell her stuff. Thanks. Mary talked about North Node and South Node. Saturn is about your life's purpose. So wherever Saturn is in your chart can tell you about your life's purpose, what you're here to do. Um, so Saturn also gives delays. Saturn gives boundaries. It gives hard lessons. Saturn is kind of like the principal of your zodiac. Principals, when you get called to the principal's office, it's not usually like a hack thing. Um, but when you are, yeah, at but not all principles are bad. So it doesn't have to be like a bad thing specifically, but Saturn will restrict you. Saturn will delay things if the things you are doing are not benefiting you, right? Or they won't benefit you in the long run. That's how Saturn works. So you kind of have to make friends with your authority figures. Saturn represents authority figures in our lives too. Neptune these are all slow moving generational planets. So different generations have these planets, and that's why different generations are different, why they respond differently to crisis, why they respond differently to, lots of things. But Neptune tends to be daydreamy, glamorous. It's anything that is sort of used to be in a fantasy world or another world. So, like movies can be Neptunian because they take you to a fantasy place, a different place, not in reality. Saturn blurs the lines of reality. Sorry, not Saturn. Saturn gives reality. Neptune blurs the lines of reality. Really? But then Neptune makes it easier for us to connect with other people because while Saturn's like, this is my house, that's your house, Neptune is like, yeah, but don't you see that we're all in this together, right? Neptune has that, we can transcend this. Uranus is lightning, surprise, motherfucker, right? It's inspiration, it's innovation, and unexpected. People who are in the tech industry tend to have Uranus's aspecting other planets in their chart, because Uranus is an epiphany, right? Uranus is they call it like the lightning. So like if you're looking at a dark sky during a thunderstorm, and then like because it's happening at night, then when the lightning comes down, and you can see through that flash of lightning for like a second, you see, oh my God, I can see so much with that flash of lightning, right? That you couldn't see right before that. Now you can see the map. That's what Uranus is. Uranus helps us to have epiphanies so that we can have breakthroughs, right? Uranus is the wrecking ball if Saturn is the walls in the home. Uranus is the surprise. Uranus goes through slowly, and it tests Saturn, right? It tests things that we think are sound and solid, and then it's like the earthquake that checks you. You know, is that really that? It can be scary only if you are not sort of being your best self, right? Saturn and Uranus and Pluto can all be scary if you're not sort of tapped into being a good person, right? If you're not a good person and you're not focused on that, you don't think about that, then those things can really mess you up. But yeah, we mess up. Okay, let's go on to the next page. All right, so signs by element, this matters. So the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Aries, Mars ruled the warrior, right? It's the ram. So Aries people, like myself, are very passionate, initiating, fiery, and they are also the ram. So we also like to fight. Or it'll feel like to other signs we're fighting, but we're really not. We're just testing to see how hard your horns be, you know, like we inspire each other. Leo is the sun ruled. It's the brave lion. It's the sign of leadership. It's the sign of kings and queens. We make treaties with Leos. We don't tell Leos what to do, because yeah, we'll talk about the fixed part too. Sagittarius is Jupiter ruled. Oh, it's the noble archer. Sagittarius is valorous, goes into war, focuses on one thing at a time. Right? Right? It's a centaur. It's half beast, half human. It gets a little lusty sometimes, Sagittarius. Sagittarius loves festivals. They love comedians. They are usually really good at disarming anger with comedy. Sagittarius is super fun. All right, so the modalities here. So what these mean are, so you've probably heard things like fixed, cardinal, or mutable, right? Cardinal is the initiator. It's the four directions, right? North, south, east, west, right? Cardinals initiate things. They start things. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn are all initiators. So if you are having a hard time with a breakthrough, or you don't know where to go next, find yourself an Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. Probably Capricorn most if it's business related, social related, Libra, home related, find a Cancer. Aries for your everyday need. Just kidding. But it's boss energy, right? It is, I know what to do, let's go here, or at least we'll have an idea of where to go next. Fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. There's a strong willpower here and an inflexibility. I have an Aquarius sun. So fixed signs, we've already thought about things, right? We kind of have our minds made up about how things should be. And so when somebody comes in with a reality that we haven't thought about, or we like haven't, you know, delved into, then we can be like, no, right? We can be like, talk to the hand. And so sometimes things will take a while to dawn on fixed signs. So don't give up on your fixed signs. We just need it to sink in. We just need to hear it enough times to fit it into our worldview. And then we'll be like, oh, I get it, right? But very stubborn Taurus, we know, is a very, very stubborn earth sign. but incredibly reliable, very reliable. Leo, again, another fixed sign, and they're a leader, so they're not going to change their mind quickly. Their vices are their vices. But again, if you just keep bringing your things to them, then they will get it eventually, and they can fix problems. They're pretty good at figuring out how to fix the thing that you're asking a question about. And mutable is great. I love mutable signs. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius again, and Pisces. What I love about these is that they can go either way, right? Cardinal's like, I'm going forward. Fixed is like, what are we doing? How are we making this happen? And then the mutable is like, well, what do you want me to do? Want me to go this way or that way? Right? They're the in between, right? They kind of help things make sense, if you will, to fixed signs and cardinal signs, right? They can kind of help you to things make sense, things to acclimate, alchemize. They're like alchemizers, if you will. But yeah, they help create change, and they can go with the flow, which is awesome sauce. Earth signs, Taurus, Venus ruled goddess, the bull. If that bull doesn't want to move, you're not gonna make it. Thank you very much. But it is Venus ruled, so it does want harmony, right? Taurus loves nature, wants to be out in nature. I want to grow something in nature. I want to build something in nature. They usually want to go slow. Do not rush me. If you rush me, the answer will be no, right, Taurus? Virgo, Mercury ruled, so we have the relayer of messages, and it's the healer. So Virgo people usually tend to be concerned with health in some way or other. Virgos who are not concerned with health usually are kind of running from it. But Virgo wants to prescribe, right? Virgo would like to give you their ideas on what has helped them and what they know has helped others, and then they will prescribe you this thing to do, right? Because they want to help you. They want you to feel well and healed. They want you to feel good, right? Virgos, very analytical though. They will pop a bubble in your plans if their details are not hammered out, right? Virgo. And so sometimes people are like, oh, stop Virgoing. I have a massive Virgo stellium, so I actually have a lot of Virgo up in me. And I'm concerned with health and healing, spiritual, mental, all that jazz. Capricorn is Saturn ruled, the goat, greatest of all time. Capricorn is the mountain goat. We're going to grind. We're going to climb. We're going to achieve, right? I'm going to check those boxes of the things that I want to do, that I want to achieve, right? They tend to like plaques on their walls of their achievements, right? And Capricorn, when I rise, we all rise, right? Capricorn likes everyone to rise, everyone to do well. Capricorn tends to be business oriented because they're so good at checking off boxes, right? But they will climb. They also party as hard as they work. So I know a lot of Capricorns who work really hard and then they drink really hard. Seen that, happen. And yeah, we already talked about the modalities, but these are the earth signs. Think earth is tangible, reliable, looking at details, looking at where we're going. How do we build society, right, in a tangible way? The air signs are like, well, I'm thinking about it. And earth is like, well, how about while you're thinking about it, we'll do something about it, right? Make it done. Air sign, like I just mentioned, think of air, think of up in the clouds, right? Think of oxygen, right? Air signs are considered very intellectual, right? Because they're constantly thinking of things. Gemini is Mercury ruled, and it's the trickster. So Gemini energy, which we're all experiencing right now because there's a whole lot of Gemini up in the transits right now, But Gemini is curious. They want to know how things work. Can it work in reverse? Can it work forward? Right? They love puzzles, right? There's usually a puzzle component to Gemini. And they're constantly thinking of stories. They love stories. The storyteller, the story healer. They're really good at like smelling the flavor, right? They'll like do like a play on words, you know. Think of how many ways can this message be relayed, and that is Gemini. Usually very youthful, can go kind of here or there, right? I think of it as like a hummingbird kind of flitting around and looking for the nectar. Libra. Libra is Venus ruled. So we have another Venus ruled sign. Libra is very social. They have their eye on the social aspects. They have their eye on the scales, right? If I say this, what will that get me where I want to go? If I don't say this, will that get me where I want to go? Libra tends to be not super decisive because they want to know, what does everyone else think? What's the balance of the scales? Now, Libra, because it is farthest away from the sun, right? Because in the springtime, when the sun is super strong, spring, summer, then in the autumn, winter time, the sun is at its weakest, right? It can't be, it's all needed, all nature, but the sun is not super strong in the sign of Libra, which is why it's not like, we're going to do this, you know, it's the opposite. The sun is like, I want to do this. And then Libra, the air sign, is like, but is that what everyone else wants? It's kind of looking for the balance. And it's kind of constantly pushing too. Sometimes a Libra will say, I don't want this, 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 or this. And you're like, well, what do you want? And they are like, I don't know. I just know what I don't want. So Libras, they push and they're trying to figure out, you know, what can I get away with sometimes? But really, how are we going to progress this forward, right? Libra. It doesn't like rudeness in general. Not that you haven't met a rude Libra in your life, but they tend to not like rudeness. You know, Aries is like in your face. Libra is the opposite. They're like, I don't want to be in your face. Aquarius is Saturn/Uranus ruled. We think of them as co-rulers, and it's the alien. So Aquarius is very eccentric. They root for the underdog. They are trying to make social sense. So Gemini goes around and it gathers all the information, right? Mercury gathers all the information, right? Libra is Venus, right? She is trying to figure out, what does everyone like? And then Aquarius is like, okay, once we know all the information, what is the social appropriateness of this? Aquarius goes, all right, this is my idea. This is how we fix social society, right? Like that's how those air signs tend to work together. Any questions so far? Anybody have any things? Water, last element we're going to talk about. Are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So when you think of the world, the globe, right? We've just talked about Earth, the continents. We've talked about air pathways, right? Oxygen, right? And we've talked about, well, fire, but I didn't put it in the globe scenario. But when you think of fire, right? Fire destroys in order to rebuild, right? Water is what connects it all together. We have so much water on our planet. Ooh, that's a good thing for us. So much water on our planet, and it connects. It's what connects all the earth, right? And when you mix water and earth, right? So water signs, earth signs, it makes mud, right? Those two things can go together. Air and fire go together well too, right? They're both very fast. They're both really good at feeding each other, what each other needs, right? If you have earth and air, those don't have the same effect on each other. It's not as easy to work, right? Because air hitting a brick wall, right? It's going to be hard. It can, you know, have some effect, but it's harder. Fire and earth, right? Fire can try to scorch earth, can scorch earth if it burns hot enough, right? But other than that, things are still going to grow. So knowing these things about like other people, other friends, other family members in your life knowing these things can help you to know why maybe you're not getting along with someone. Maybe they have more water than you have earth to hold that water, right? What does, oh yeah, no, what does fixed, cardinal, and mutable mean, please? Yeah, these were the things. So the fixed signs are, so okay, we'll start with cardinal. So cardinal is the initiator, the starter. We're gonna go over there, right? Fixed sign is where are we going to go to? We're going to go in that direction. What's the end point? Where are we going to? Right. And then mutable is, well, not everyone likes that. What if we went maybe over here? Right. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe that's a better spot, right? Because they're trying to find the link between the cardinal and the fixed. So cardinal is directional, initiatory, starter. Fixed is, okay, now we started something. What is the structure, right? What is what are the constants? What are the patterns, right? Because cardinal isn't looking for patterns exactly, but fixed is, because I need to know what to tell everyone else, right? You're going somewhere, cardinal. I need to know what to tell the others who are not going somewhere. I need to be able to tell the others what we're doing. And then mutable is like, let me tell the people in this way. Oh, you don't understand it in this way? Maybe if we explain it in that way, maybe you'll understand it better if we do it that way, right? Like mutable is kind of going in between the goers, the fixers, right? Mutable is making sure everyone kind of gets the gist, gets the message, right? Does that make sense? I'm trying to think of it as in like easiest terms possible. Fixed people, fixed signs. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, fixed people take a while for things to dawn. Cardinal people are usually quick, and mutable people are easy going. I'll go with the flow. I can go here, there. So water signs. Water is intuitive, right? When you look at the ocean, you can't see what's under that ocean, but you know a bunch of stuff's under that water, right? So it's intuition, it's things that connect, right? It's when you think of like music, right? When people are playing like beats, it makes you want to dance, right? And everyone can kind of feel that way, right? It's connecting us together, right? So music is sort of a watery, intuitive thing. Anytime some people are trying to get people to connect by not using words, but using feelings, right? Like, have you ever had something where you're like, I don't know it, I just feel it? The easiest example I can give you is like if you've ever walked into a room where two people have been arguing, you don't even have to have heard the arguing. You can feel the energy in the room. That's water at work, feeling it in the room. So Cancer is ruled by the moon and it represents the mother, right? Cancer likes to be of use, loves to be needed. Cancer, because it's ruled by the moon, we know that the moon goes from full moon to quarter to crescent, right? And then it goes back again. So the mood of a Cancer can change more than other people's moods change. But they can also nurture a lot, right? Think of mothering. Are the modalities more apparent for a person's star, moon, rising, or all three modalities apparent? Well, you know, in my mind, I just think of them automatically, right? Because I know what they all are. So what matters with modalities? So it applies to all of them, right? Every in a chart, you know, let's see if we got any charts pop in here. Let me see if I can go. Okay, here's a chart. This is the chart of John Legend. Why Mary chose it. So we're looking at a chart here. So John Legend has a sun in Capricorn. We know that that modality is direction, right? Is climbing, is going forward, right? Forward momentum. So cardinal matters here. He has a cardinal Mars. This means that he is motivated by winning, by achieving. It's cardinal. So he's a go-getter, this person, right? In ways that we all see. his moon here, right? So his emotions and his inner world is in Sagittarius. That is a mutable sign. So his feelings or how he taps in can go this way or that way. That means that when he is working with other people and he's trying to bring forth his feelings or how he feels about things, then he will work well with others because he can talk about whatever you're talking about or come back to what he was talking about, right? Mutable here or there, right? I'm gonna go get her. I'm gonna go get it, right? But Sagittarius moon, the modality is mutable. I can go with the flow here. His Saturn's also go with the flow. He has though fixed Venus and Uranus. So fixed Venus, when a Venus who is fixed sets their sights on a person that they're attracted to, they kind of only stay on that person. You know, fixed. I have a fixed attraction. I'm fixed on this, right? This person. Let's see. What else has he got popping in here? So he's got a lot of cardinal. We've got some mutable. And we've got just a little bit of fixed here for him. Like as in like as far as planets go. But did that make sense? So the modalities always apply. It's just know that he's probably not going to be attracted to a whole bunch of people, but yeah. Okay, cool. Sweet. Alrighty. What else have we got? Yeah, we're almost at time. But do you want me to just talk about a chart? Do you know where do you know where your sun signs are? So I could chat about that. Or the rising. AC in a chart is the rising sign here. No, I don't. Oh, that's okay. After this, you can go look up your charts if you want. Do you want me to show you how to look up your charts for free? Okay. So yes. So the other person, I don't know how to pronounce your name. CT Ryu. Is that how you say it? Okay, yeah. And then I'll show you how to look up your chart. Cindy, thank you. I will definitely tell you how to look up your chart. Okay, Steph, we'll definitely do that. But really, we've got a rising Capricorn. Interesting. So Cindy, you have very similar to John Legend here, right? Because we've got a Cap rising here. So that's you. That means that you definitely are a very responsible person, right? Because Capricorn risings usually had to grow up being responsible for themselves. Yes, very right. Capricorn also does do you like to climb things? Do you like hiking? That's another thing I've noticed that Capricorn risings like. I'm also, oh yeah, you're not famous. That's fine. But do you like hiking or riding a bike or riding a horse up hills and then having perspective? Yeah, Capricorn risings tend to love that. Gemini sun and a moon in Taurus. So Gemini sun, that means that you're a relayer of messages, right? You love stories. Do you love nonfiction stories, but that are real? Capricorn's a Saturn rule sign, but if you're younger, you might have Neptune and you might like that fantasy, but something about like historical stories might be interesting to a Capricorn. Gemini. Taurus is really cool. Taurus is again slow, right? Reliable. Taurus though loves the five senses, right? Taurus loves the taste of food, the smell of food, right? Taurus loves the smell of things, unless that smell is bad, and then a Taurus will smell it first. Taurus moon smells it first. They go, ew, when they walk into a room. They live for food. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, food is really important to Taurus and like good food. Moon too, there likes quality over quantity. I don't need a lot of something, I need a quality of something. It's another thing that that Capricorn likes. Alrighty, now with my last little 5 minutes here, let's show you how to look up your chart. All right. Yeah, quality, exactly. All right, I'm gonna go to astrodius.com. Let me get out of this. Here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, boom. Let's go to here. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. So I'm gonna go back and share my screen because I had to make sure. Boop. Oh no. Oh no, I think I did I. Okay. Go to here. Oh, well, I think I might have just. Okay, there's that. There we go. All right. Goodness sakes. Where is my share screen? There we go. Boop. Sorry, I have to get to my screen. Why won't you share that screen? It must be that. Well, here's that. Boom. Bam. Okay. No. There. Okay. So we're gonna go to astro.com. Bam. And this is the website that's free to use. And then you have to agree to their privacy, whatevs. And then you'll have to make an account, right? So I'm gonna log out and we're gonna go to bloop, bloop. All right. So I don't know, you put in your email address, whatever that is. And then you're gonna put in your I think you can do enter your data and create a horoscope. Let's go there. Accept. Okay. So what I just did there is on this bottom, and wanted me to enter my email and stuff. Here, if you push this blue, click on this blue one, enter your data, that'll just let me go right to it. You have to accept, data privacy, everything today. And then you put in your name, your last name, male, female, or whatever. Put in your birthday, right? Like mine's 23rd January, 1980. And then unknown hour. If you don't know, you can push unknown, and I'll show you how that looks. And then USA, the whole, and you can put in, wherever you're from, and then Hanford. So, you have on this part when it asks for the birth town, you have to click on one of the odd items that it gives you. You can't just type it in. It'll just like move on. Okay. So I'm going to show you what it's like. Boom. Continue. Oh, my first name. Fine. Boom. And then I can put that. And then I had, yeah, unknown is still here. Unknown. Continue. It should show me. Oh, interesting. We've never had that. Okay, correct birth data. Maybe if I put the thingies then, the unknowns. Normally it just lets me do it. Fine. 10:06. Oh, it still wants me to register. So this is new then. Normally it's not done that. So I suppose if you want to register all the stuff, you can register all the stuff. But anyway, don't know if that makes sense here. All right. Was that at least a little bit understandable how to find your chart? Like, yeah. It could be because you've logged off and that's why, yeah, I know that too. I was thinking the same thing. And it was like, oh, Well, I was hoping to do it like as if I wasn't a person. That way you could see what it was like. But you hopefully you got the gist of it. But that is all of our time for now. Thanks for joining me today. We do this every month, and if you're on Eventbrite, you'll always see when we pop it up. You can even like follow us on there and see when we're gonna pop up. So thanks for joining. I hope it helped. Welcome. Bye, Cindy. Bye. Bye, Steph. Thanks for joining.